was halfway through my shower when the doorbell wouldn't stop shrieking. I opened the door in my bathrobe. Ivy, the new neighbor from downstairs in our apartment complex, stood outside. She offered an apologetic smile. Sorry, Serena. My power went out last night, so I crashed here. I left in a rush and forgot something. Before I could answer, she slid past me into the bedroom, fished a lace thong from the mattress seam, and waved it at me, cheeks pink. Glad it didn't go missing. After Ivy left, I collapsed onto the couch. When my body sank in, my fingers brushed something slick, a torn condom wrapper. Beside it lay a long, coiled strand of hair that definitely wasn't mine. My stomach lurched. I bolted to the bathroom and threw up until the room went black. Ethan didn't notice anything was wrong until he walked in, a warm towel in his hand. Serena, what is it? You okay? Worry flooded his face. His eyes clear, nothing fake about it. He steadied my swaying shoulders and asked again. What happened? Need to hit the... I stared at the face I'd studied for 20 plus years and couldn't find a single crack. A small voice whispered, maybe it's a mistake. One thing. One used wrapper, hardly enough to torch 2 decades of us. I sucked in a breath, crammed every roiling feeling down. My eyes were bloodshot, but I forced a smile. I'm fine. Probably bad takeout. I pushed away the glass he offered, shaking my head. Ethan tapped the tip of my nose. Affectionate. I'll whip up a bowl of noodles. He headed for the kitchen, tall frame reassuring as ever. I stayed on the couch, scrolling my phone like my life depended on it. The smell of egg noodles drifted out, but it only made me sicker. The bell rang again. Ethan called over the sizzle. Serena, can you get it? My hands are greasy. I dragged myself up and opened the door. Outside stood Ivy from downstairs. She tilted her head, all innocent dimples. Sis, I didn't grocery shop tonight. Mind if I mooch a bowl? The refusal died in my throat. Ivy melted against my arm, lifting 2 bubble tea cups. I brought drinks. Sharing is caring. I'll even wash the dishes. Promise. She hauled me inside before I could object. Ethan emerged with the steaming bowl just then. The moment he saw Ivy, his hands froze midair. Ivy cooed, syrupy sweet. Ethan, big sis invited me. Hope I'm not crashing? Ethan's gaze flicked to me. I shook off Ivy's arm, face blank. My voice came out icy, foreign even to me. I didn't invite anyone. I glanced at the bubble tea cups, then back at Ethan. Looks like you keep things plenty lively when I'm gone. I had nothing left to say. I just stared at him, dead eyes, waiting for his verdict. Ethan had protected me since we were kids, no matter who it was. He always said, the king of heaven himself bows to my Serena. Now I looked at him, then at Ivy. Her eyes watered on cue, tears racing down her cheeks. She slammed the cups on the table with a dull thud. I really don't mean any harm. Ethan's helped me a ton. I just wanted to thank him and meet you. Her sobs grew louder. Do you have to be like this? Assuming the worst, is that fun? Still, I said nothing. I kept my gaze on Ethan. He rubbed his temples, the picture of a man caught between 2 women, torn and tired. Then, as always, I chose. He walked to the table, lifted the drinks, and handed them back to Ivy. His tone carried a sigh. Serena's blunt, but she doesn't have a mean bone. Don't take it to heart. It's late. Head home. I'll treat you to dinner another night. My apology. Ivy cried harder. Ethan and I are totally innocent. How dare you slander me? Suddenly, I was the villain. Yet the condom wrapper on the couch and that matching curl told a different story. And since when did Ethan, who barely tolerates strangers, let a neighbor waltz in repeatedly while I was gone, alone, just the 2 of them? Who knows? Ivy kept sniffling, eyes pleading. I only wanted to be friends. If your mind's in the gutter, everyone looks filthy. I just moved in. I don't want neighbor drama. But you've gone too far. By rights, Ethan had asked her to leave. A decent person would have scrammed, but she stood there, still performing. I looked at her, unmoved. Call me awful if you want. I yanked the door wide. Leave. Now. This time the act collapsed. She stamped her foot and bolted out, sobbing. Silence crashed over the living room. Ethan stared at me in disappointment, like I'd lost my mind. Serena, did you have to be that harsh? We'd been together since diaper days. At our purest, he'd rallied the whole class, spelled a giant heart with candles on my birthday, stood in the center, and asked, Serena, want to date me, for keeps? I'd thrown myself into the arms of my trembling boy that windy night. Our love was everyone's fairy tale. Now, for a neighbor he barely knew, he said, do you get how fragile a girl's reputation is? What you said could brand her a homewrecker. Serena, he muttered, brushing past me so hard I stumbled. His voice dropped. Cold. Bailing you out doesn't mean I approve. The door slammed. I was alone with a bowl of congealed noodles. Steam stung my eyes. Was I wrong? Was I oversensitive? Had I really crossed the line? I spiraled into self-doubt, convinced I was the villain, until my phone screen lit up. A WhatsApp friend request popped up. My heart slammed against my ribs. I stared at the unfamiliar avatar and tapped accept. Not a single pleasantry, just 3 files dropped into the chat. The first was a voice memo. The second was a video. I opened the memo. In the background droned the financial channel Ethan always watched when I wasn't home. Then Ivy's syrupy voice floated in. Ethan, when's Serena coming back? I'm scared she'll catch us. Ethan chuckled. Equal parts fond and dismissive. Screw it. While she's gone, you can keep me company. Next came the unmistakable sound of sloppy kissing and breathy flirting that made my cheeks burn. I tapped the video. It was phone-captured security footage, shot from a sneaky corner angle. On screen, Ethan and Ivy made out on the living room sofa. They fooled around in his desk chair. Even on the yoga mat I used every morning. Inside the penthouse apartment I decorated with my own hands. They did the most intimate things 2 people can do. Every frame stabbed me in the heart. The memo kept playing. Ivy sounded worried. Aren't you afraid she'll find out? Ethan's voice oozed contempt. After her mom jumped. Her courage shrank to a pinhead. She leans on me for everything. Serena's wrapped around my finger. Without me she wouldn't survive. Relax. I'll just sweet talk her. The last clip was stamped minutes ago. Ethan cradled a crying Ivy, whispering comforts. Shh. Don't cry. I'll handle Serena. From now on, you're the only one I touch. I swear I'm keeping myself only for you. The final message from the stranger was pure taunt. Sis Serena, guess who'll be the bride at your wedding to Ethan? I went ice cold. My teeth chattered so hard I couldn't stop. The love I'd been proud of, the Ethan I'd trusted 100%, had just told me the truth in the cruelest, most humiliating way possible. I bit my lip until blood filled my mouth. Only the metallic taste gave me strength. I didn't cry or scream. I simply saved every memo and clip, compressed them, and forwarded the whole package to Dakota. It's over between him and me. When I was 17, I caught my always gentle father kissing another woman in his car. Bawling, I asked why he betrayed Mom. He answered coldly, "Kids don't get adult business. Stay out of it." I told Mom. The woman who used to smile at everything never smiled again. She sank into severe depression. One rainy afternoon, 6 months later, she stepped off our balcony and never came back. I lost my mother. That summer I lost both parents and became an unwanted orphan. Ethan's sister Audrey took me in. Ethan himself, during my darkest, most hopeless hours, held my hand and said firmly, "Serena, don't be scared. From now on, I'm your family." Now, I have no family left. I sat dead still in the corner cafe while Dakota cursed at the video on her phone. That bastard. How dare he talk about you like that? Has he forgotten who treated him like a little brother? The more she ranted, the angrier she got, until she smacked the table. I'm going to confront him. No, I can't swallow this. I'll destroy those cheating scumbags. Dakota dialed Ethan. As usual, whenever Ethan and I fought, Dakota charged out front, and Ethan always listened to her lectures. But this time he picked up only after the 10th call. "Serena, I know you're listening." His indifferent voice came through the speaker, sharp as broken glass. "Can't we talk in private instead of airing our dirty laundry? Stop acting like a spoiled brat. Keep this up and you'll only push me further away." The line clicked dead. Dakota exploded. "Son of a bitch. Say it to my face." She hit redial. Blocked. Furious, she yanked me toward the door, ready to storm his office. Then I remembered, our wedding was next week. I'd spent 2 years planning it. Every font on the invitations, every shade of flower, I'd chosen myself. Now, I laughed at myself. My father's words echoed. After his affair surfaced, he'd told me, "Kids don't get adult business. Stay out of it." Ethan's voice layered over his, "Stop acting like a spoiled brat." Something inside me shattered, and suddenly cleared. I stood, stopped Dakota, and said, "I've figured it out." Figured what out? The dark knot in my chest loosened. The view ahead was wide open. I looked at her, smiling until tears fell. I realized I shouldn't pin my life on anyone beyond love. I'm first myself, my mother's daughter. Before she left, Mom held my hand and said, "Serena, Mama failed to protect you. From now on, guard yourself. Don't let anyone bully you." I met Dakota's shimmering eyes and told her, word by word, "Ethan wronged me. He betrayed Mom's trust. He disturbs her soul in heaven. Why should I let him off easy? I was never some gentle soul. Mom's death carved me into a hard, fragile monster, forced me to grow armor. Ethan wrapped that armor in softness, let me believe I could stay a protected little girl forever. Now he's the one who smashed the shell." The night before the wedding, Ethan called. His tone carried a condescending forgiveness. "Serena, I'll pick you up on time tomorrow. Quit the tantrums and be good. We'll be husband and wife soon. Learn to act mature. I almost laughed. I'd already emptied the penthouse apartment. He hadn't been back in days, so of course he hadn't noticed. I said nothing. In the background I could almost hear Ivy's sugary whine asking who he was talking to. He quickly told me, "I've still got something on my end. I'm hanging up." The line went dead. I held my phone and stared into the night outside the window, smiling perfectly calm. "Ethan, tomorrow I'll give you a wedding you'll never forget." Wedding scene. The decor was solemn and grand. All champagne tone roses, exactly my taste. Ethan stood on the platform, tux razor sharp, love spilling unchecked from his eyes. He watched the bride advance toward him under her veil of white. He grinned and clasped her hand, tender, as though nothing had ever changed. The instant their fingers touched, the ballroom speakers shrieked with static, then plunged into dead silence. The lights cut out at the same moment. A ripple of alarm swept through the guests. In the blackout, the main screen and surround sound system fired up together. A man's voice filled the hall. "Ethan's. Screw her. She's not here so you can finally keep me company." Her. After her mom jumped. She's scared of her own shadow. I'm the only thing holding her together. Without me she wouldn't even survive. I've got her wrapped around my finger. The recording was flippant, vicious. Then the screen blazed to life and began looping security footage. Ethan and Ivy making out on the living room sofa, fooling around in his desk chair, rolling across the yoga mat he'd bought for me. The crowd erupted. "That's the groom's voice. I'd know it anywhere." "Holy, who's the girl in the video?" "That's not the bride." "Wait, did we just walk into a live cheating expose?" Down below, Ethan's sister Audrey went chalk white. The spotlight snapped back on. Ethan instinctively turned to the bride beside him. She lifted her veil slowly, revealing Ivy's panic-stricken face. Ethan staggered back a step, disbelief flooding his eyes. Ivy, still dazed, screamed into thin air, hysterical, "Serena, you psycho." On screen the reel kept spinning, frame after frame. Next came screen grabs of the texts Ivy had bombarded me with. "Sis Serena, guess who Ethan's real bride will be? Someone who killed her own dad deserves to rot in the gutter. Stay out of our way." Every pixel cemented her status as backstabbing homewrecker. Right then Ethan's phone rang, the custom ringtone I'd set for him. He fumbled it open to a message from me. "Ethan, enjoying your wedding gift. And tell my mom I didn't let her down." He tried to call me back like a man possessed. Nothing but robotic rejections. The whole reception had already collapsed into chaos. Whispers, accusations, Ivy's shrieks, Audrey's glare. It felt like a grand funeral for the love he and I had killed, and I was its lone director. Audrey's mom had been my mother's closest friend. She'd watched me grow, treated me like a little sister. When Dad died, she whisked me into her house, a harbor from the storm. She wanted Ethan and me to land our happy ending more than anyone. Now, while the scandal still rolled across the screen, she shook with rage, stormed the stage, and in front of everyone slapped Ethan so hard the crack rang out. "You beast." Ethan didn't even flinch. His revered older sister had struck him. Ivy was clawing at him. Guests sneered. Relatives gossiped. Former classmates whispered. Yet it all seemed cushioned by thick glass, distant and muted. The only thing looping in his skull was my line, "And tell my mom I didn't let her down." Suddenly he remembered us as kids. Right after Mom died I turned silent and brittle. One day some boys taunted me, "Orphan freak without a mom." I grabbed a brick ready to bash their heads in. He was the one who pinned my frantic body, fought the boys off, then clung to me, sobbing harder than I did. "Serena, don't be scared. You still have me. Don't be scared. I won't let anyone hurt you. Serena, I love you. I love you so damn much. I swear, if Ethan ever betrays Serena, let Ethan lose Serena forever. Let Ethan be destroyed." He'd begged me to give him the chance to protect me. Back then he'd stitched my shattered pieces together. He'd watched the prickly, furious me soften into the quiet woman I became, then missed the old fire so much that when Ivy slinked in, glamorous and wild, life suddenly looked colorful again. Sneaking around behind my back became his only thrill, but he knew, the one he loved had always been me. Ivy was spice, not love. Never wife material. Now, fully awake, he spun on Ivy in blinding rage. "Did you go after Serena? Did you mess with our security footage and recordings? You're the one who pushed everything over the edge." No wonder that day he'd sensed my mood was off. Why I'd knelt over the toilet pail and retching. Why he could walk right up and I'd sit there like a soulless statue. He'd imagined every excuse. Work stress, office bullying, painful memories. Never the one he'd cursed himself. If Ethan ever wrongs Serena, may Ethan lose her and be ruined. I had delivered, lost him, left him infamous. I closed the riotous live stream on Dakota's phone. I couldn't watch anymore. Dakota stayed glued, thrilled, even screen capped and posted to Instagram. Dog eat dog deluxe. My girl is a legend. Then she dumped a plate of fat marbled beef into my bubbling hot pot. Honestly didn't think you'd go this far. You banked on Ethan having no escape route, and that he and the green tea tramp would never reach the finish line, right? I shook my head. I wasn't arrogant enough to believe I was Ethan's one and only destiny. I was simply placing a bet. I was gambling on the years we'd grown up together, staking everything on the idea that those shared seasons were carved so deep into his bones they couldn't be scraped out. And I was gambling that the boy who once loved me had only fallen asleep somewhere inside his soul, not been amputated completely. In the end, I won. Holy crap, that was satisfying. Dakota slid me a glass of cold plum wine. Talk about the drama of the year. Bride ghosts her own wedding. Side piece tries to step into the gown and gets slapped down in front of the whole congregation. Ahahaha. The groom couldn't even look at her. And his only family, his sister, literally dragged the chick out by the armpits. Dakota flashed her phone, shoving the newest headlines under my nose. The Sterling fiasco has hijacked the trending tab. On the hot list, censored clips were popping up like weeds. But everyone who knows the Sterlings recognized every blurred face. Everyone remembered how loud the mess had exploded. Strangers were comment bombing below. I was catering that day, saw the groom ditch the altar. Side piece and wedding gown chased him half a block and still ate dust. The original queen is bad ass. Turning her own wedding into a public flogging of a cheater, representing all sisters proud. Late stage affection is cheaper than weeds. I know that guy. He's running around like a lunatic looking for his ex, while she's off vacationing. Dude, unraveling. Whether he's unraveling or not, I couldn't say. All I knew was the beef tripe in front of me smelled insane. Whether he's unraveling or not, I couldn't say. I did know Dakota was about to unravel. She shadows me 24/7. Terrified I'll soften and double back. Equally terrified the headlines will make me cry alone in the dark. She's dragged me through an eat pray love bender. Colorado, Alaska, Hawaii, swapping time zones like playlists, until one day, my phone lit up with an unknown New York number. Dakota shook her head so hard her earrings chimed, mouthing, "Don't pick, scammer." I hesitated, then swiped accept. A frantic female voice burst through. "Serena, is that you?" "Speaking. I'm Audrey's assistant. She's sick. Really sick." My heart dropped like an elevator with cut cables. "Brain tumor. Doctors say it's bad. Emergency surgery in hours. She keeps asking for you before they wheel her in. Could you fly back?" Dakota was now full mime grab, trying to snatch the phone. I went quiet. On one side sat Ethan's betrayal, pain etched so deep it lived in my marrow. On the other sat Audrey's love, the closest thing to family I'd touched since Dad died. She'd installed me in the Sterling mansion, bought me new clothes, fed me midnight noodles, whispered life back into me. She said, "Serena, this is your home now. I'm the big sister you ordered. That debt doesn't expire." At last I breathed into the receiver. "Okay, I'm coming." I booked the next New York flight via Amtrak app. When I pushed the ward door open, my gaze crashed straight into Ethan, standing vigil beside the bed. He was skeletal, beard scruffy, sockets hollow, a living ghost. The moment he spotted me his dead eyes flared, one spark dancing between ecstasy and agony. He lurched upright, lips trembling, words jammed in his throat, but I didn't linger on him for even a second. I walked past like he was air, straight to the bed. I clasped Audrey's sleeping hand. "Audrey, I'm back." That casual snub spoke louder than any sentence. It told him crystal clear. I returned for her, not for you. I stayed in the ward for hours. When I stepped out, Ethan was still welded to the wall like a statue missing its lover. His voice was gravel. "Serena, Can I have 5 minutes?" We took the elevator to the lobby cafe. He opened and closed his mouth 3 times, fingers laced as if handcuffed, awaiting verdict. Finally he lifted bloodshot eyes and croaked, "Serena, if I spend the rest of my life atoning, could you ever give me another chance?" Before I could answer, a shrill voice sliced the space. "Ethan." Ivy barged in, obviously tailing him. Seeing me, she snapped into attack mode, fingers stabbing toward my nose. "Serena, have you no shame? Ethan's wrecked and you're here twisting the knife." She glued herself to his side like the rightful owner. "What he needs is peace, not some bitter ex haunting him." I looked at her with zero eyelid lift, picked up the glass of water the waiter had just set down, flicked my wrist, and baptized her face. Graceful, Swift. A millisecond before her screech could detonate. I spoke. Featherlight. Cool off rinse. Overheated brain spits nonsense. Then I stared at her dripping mascara and delivered the verbal kill shot. Word by word. Who do you think you are? Screeching at me? A gold digger who only qualifies for a zip code because some guy's paying? Or the moron whose own leaked texts became the smoking gun? Are you even worth my footprint? Ivy's face bleached. She screeched and swung to slap me. Ethan caught her wrist midair. She gaped. Howling. She threw water at me. Are you blind? But instead of pity, he wrenched her arm away and iced her with a stranger's stare. One syllable. Out. The scene yanked me back years. He used to shove middle school bullies off me the same way. Only now his protection was pointless and nauseatingly late. After disposing of Ivy, he swung those hope-starved eyes on me again, apologizing for misreading people. My face stayed flat. Ethan, between us lies a life. I spotted Dakota by the sliding doors, waved, and followed her to the car without looking back. In the rearview mirror, he collapsed into the cafe chair like someone had vacuumed his soul out. Audrey's operation was scheduled Friday, the night before. Ethan called again. His voice was stripped of everything except numb begging. Serena, my sister. She wants to see you once more before they take her in. Dakota listened, brows knitting. She said Ethan had gone full ghost mode, ignoring the company, haunting the hospital corridors. A living voicemail no one wanted. The two most important women in his life. One was about to walk through death's door, her fate still undecided. The other had already locked him out of her heart forever. I still went. I walked up to him and looked at his bloodshot eyes and the dark stubble on his chin. This time I didn't head straight for the hospital room. I spoke first. Ethan, let's talk. At the far end of the corridor outside the ward, the sky beyond the windows was the color of ash. I took out my phone and tapped an old audio file. It was the last message my mother had left me, recorded on the battered tape deck she owned before she jumped. Her voice brimmed with exhaustion and despair that nothing could dissolve. Serena, mommy was useless. I couldn't give you a whole family. What happened with your father isn't your fault. You were little. You couldn't understand. You must never be as foolish as mommy. You have to keep living. The recording ended. I looked at him calmly and began. Even when she died, my mother blamed herself, kept making excuses for my father. But I know the real straw that broke her was betrayal. I used to think that after she was gone, you were the angel heaven sent to protect me, to love me in her place. Yet you pushed me right back into that hell with your own hands. Ethan's body began to tremble violently. He tried to speak, but no words came. I kept my eyes on him and continued. So even if your sister begs me today with her life hanging by a thread, we can never go back. I painted for him the future that could never be reached again. Every time you're kind to me, I'll hear my mother's last words. Hear her blaming herself while she breathed her last. Every time we get close, I'll remember that you and my father are the same, both traitors. I can't fall in love with a man who stands on my mother's corpse. I just can't. My voice was soft, level, as if I were stating facts that had nothing to do with me, but every syllable was a knife plunged into his heart, and into my own. I looked at him one last time and spoke the final sentence. Ethan, let me go, and let yourself go, too. When I finished, I turned and walked toward the other end of the corridor. I didn't look back. I didn't stop. At the far end, I heard it clearly behind me, a strangled sob, like a dying animal's last howl, a sound so raw it seemed he would cough up his lungs. I knew, this time, we were truly, completely finished. Before I left the ward, Ethan made no other sound. I closed the door, and with it I closed our past. Dakota and I were headed for Tibet. Wait, no, we boarded a scenic rail journey to Alaska. On the slow train, watching the scenery roll backward, Dakota was still seething on my behalf. That's it. You just let him off? If you ask me, when the hype online was blazing, we should have gone live, bawled out your tragic tale, then torn the bastard and the banshee to pieces. We'd have blown up overnight and become top-tier influencers. I looked at Dakota sitting opposite me, gesticulating as she mapped out our road to fame. We'd be drowning in cash and cute guys. Life would be absolutely bubbly. Instead, look at us now. Dakota sighed. The heat's gone. The influencer dream's dead. We're still slogging through life. The scumbag survived. The bitch vanished. So damn depressing. I tore open a bag of spicy beef jerky, shoved a piece into her mouth. Tasty? I asked. She nodded. I added. Then shut up. Dakota protested with her eyes, pointing at the jerky. Another piece. Yes, my queen. That's more like it. Extra. The day Ethan was discharged, he didn't go home, didn't go to the office. He went to Willow Creek Cemetery, to Serena's mother's grave. The headstone was simple. In the photo, the woman smiled gently. He remembered long ago, when Aunt Vance was still alive. Patting his shoulder, Ethan, our little Serena, Promise you'll take care of her. He had sworn. Don't worry, Auntie. I'll always treat Serena right. Now, beneath a gloomy sky and cold drizzle, he looked at the woman's gentle smile in the photograph. His knees finally buckled, and he dropped into the mud. He sobbed aloud. I'm sorry, Auntie. I didn't take care of Serena. I lost her. She'll never want me again. What am I supposed to do? Auntie. The rain thickened, drowning the helpless wails of a grown man crying like a child. No one saw Ethan there, crying his heart out. I followed Dakota all over the map. She actually reeled in several jaw-droppingly hot guys. But Dakota seemed allergic to monogamy. Today she's with A. Tomorrow with B. I reminded her. Aren't you juggling too many boats? Dakota corrected me with a straight face. How is that juggling? This is clearly. She arched a brow. Me trying to give every hot guy in the world a home. Too few monks. Too much porridge. Blame my lethal charm. Dakota cornered me. Serena, tell me, if I crash and burn, what will you do? I raised my hand like I was taking an oath. As long as nobody dies. It just proves my girl has game. I don't care if you date 8 at once. Just don't date one guy 8 times. I'm 100% behind you. Dakota beamed. Then, she really crashed. On her birthday she booked an entire bar and posted on Instagram, forgetting to sort her audience. Several big brothers, who thought they were the official boyfriend, showed up at the same time. Flowers and gifts in hand. They all bumped into each other. They sized one another up, then came to blows, arguing over which of them was Dakota's one and only. Ethan and I never saw the inside of a police precinct even at our worst. Yet thanks to Dakota's harem on fire, we were hauled in as persons of interest, in a brawl, to give statements. After our one-day police precinct tour, I asked Dakota, ready to turn over a new leaf? Dakota stretched, yawning. I've learned my lesson. Next time I won't make the same mistake. I'm starting a group chat, centralized management. Thanks for watching today's story. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Feel free to share your opinions. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more amazing stories. See you next time.